a bad life, right?
100%, 100%. And it's just, you don't have to stay longer in that to make sure that it, you still pick up yourself, tonight you rejuvenate, reflect on what happened, how could you deal with it better. And tomorrow it's another day and it's another opportunity for you to do it better, at a better scale, and and eventually you will get to where you want to be. As we always say, success becomes inevitable as long as you are consistent at what you're doing. That's all.
Okay, guys, we can sign off. I think we're done for the day. You've got your motivation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lebogang. Thank you so much. I think, for the benefit of those who don't really know your profile, if you can just maybe bring us into confidence about who is Lebogang, what do you do? What are you known for? What are you hoping to be known for? Or what do you want to leave as a legacy?
Lebogang is I'm actually 29 years old, turning 30 this year.
Wow.
I know, right?
Wow. Yes.
I was born and raised in a squatter camp in Tembisa called Emadelagofa. Like most South Africans, I was raised by my single mother. I'm the firstborn of 3 from my mother's side. And from my dad, I honestly don't know, but it's a story for another day. And I professionally, I'm a business accountant by profession. I hold 4 qualifications, all in finance. The highest is an honors in taxation. But I only lasted 5 minutes in the corporate world.
I wanted to say to you, there's a popular rapper today who posted his tax affairs, and he's like, I don't owe SARS anything, guys. And as he posted it, I'm sitting here thinking, my G, trust me, SARS is going to come with something. You're going to owe them. The moment you've put yourself in their radar.
100%, because when they come for you, they must get something. They must somehow report something back to the receiver. However, there's always ways that you can account for everything. There's always ways that you can manage your finances and structure them in a way that it helps you and it assists you in terms of your compliance and to SARS, and also saves you in a bit of tax. You can avoid paying a lot of tax, but you shouldn't evade tax. So there's a difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. Tax evasion, it's illegal, but tax avoidance is legal. It's using the allowance that SARS gives you to ensure that you pay the least possible tax to the receiver than you'd normally do if you didn't use those allowables. So that's exactly what you can do in terms of tax. But to tell you a little bit more about me, 4 qualifications, highest is an honors in taxation. Lasted only 5 minutes in the corporate world, and I started Biz House in 2017 at the age of 25. I've been running Biz House now for the past 5 years, so it's been an incredible journey that we have been on it. So for the past 5 years, we've been solving 2 problems really. So the first problem that we're solving is an accommodation problem. We are bringing lifestyle living apartments in and around townships at an affordable amount. We are restoring our people's dignity and ensuring that they have access to a dignified space that they can live in, that is secured, because security is the biggest issues, especially in our townships, and comfortability as well. I mean, most people are living in small back rooms that you can barely move around in there. So most of our bedrooms are actually way bigger than people's living areas, especially in the townships. So we're making sure that they have comfortable space that they can live in, that is secured, at the same time that they are able to afford it, because now affordability is the biggest issue. You look at the stats, they tell us that over 75% of the population of South Africa, they earn less than 15,000 rand per household. And this is a household of about 6 people. So if household income of 6 people is less than 15,000 rand, so then that means that a lot of people, they can't afford to stay in suburban areas. That's why you even end up having stigmas such as migrant people don't have furniture. I'm sure you are aware of it.
I know nothing of such, please. Do they have furniture? I should visit a Midrand somebody and see what's happening.
Well, apparently, I also don't know. I know it as a stigma. I don't know if they do or they don't. But the reality of things is that, most people, affordability is the biggest issue. I mean, let's give an example and say, if you are earning 15,000 rent, and you're living in mid-rent, you're paying 8,000 rent in rental, and you're driving a Polo, you pay 5,000 rent for your installment. So if you are to pay for insurance, then you are doomed. You don't have money for petrol, you don't have money for food, you don't have money for transport, you don't have money for your necessities, let alone have money for furniture. So people are struggling financially because of, you look at your options as a young professional, as an example, to say, do I stay in the township, at a back room in the township, or do I move to suburban areas because I want a more dignified space that I can live in, that is more comfortable? And you are caught up between those two options. When you're moving to the suburban areas, you are struggling financially. But if you stay in the townships, then you are forced to either stay in a back room or you stay at home. So if you don't want to stay at home or you don't want to stay in the back room, you are forced to go outside the township. So there's that gap market that exists that is not catered for. So that's where we come in. We providing them with a product that suits their need, that is also affordable, within their affordable range in terms of their income and their buying power. So we are bringing these lifestyle living apartments, a bit of mid-rent, a bit of Bryanston, a bit of Sandton, but in the township, we're ensuring that we're changing our people's lives, and we're ensuring that they are able to afford these places that they live in, that they can be proud to stay in such places. So that's exactly what we're bringing in the townships. So we have exciting projects that are in the pipeline. We've done some incredible, developments in the past. And currently, so that's the first problem that we're solving. The second problem that we're solving in Best House is we are breaking the barrier to entry into property investment market, particularly property development market. So we are ensuring that.
Okay. Just sorry. Let me stop you. Let me stop you there, because I would like us to give both the conversations a fair amount of time in terms of us discussing it. Lebo's Instagram handle is at Lebogang_Lebepe. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lebogang, is that how you pronounce your surname?
It's actually Lebepe.
Lebepe. So Lebogang_Lebepe. That's his handle. The website is bizhouse.co.za. If you are interested in what Lebogang is speaking about, what he's going to speak about, the product that they're putting on the table, if you are looking to go into purchasing housing, I think, within the township, and you are looking for the standard and the qualities that we've got, of course, as we say, in the suburb areas in South Africa, you can definitely get it at Biz House. So please make sure that you are visiting them. It is bizhouse.co.za, and you can find as much information as you can there. And remember, if you're going to engage with Lebogang on IG, state what your case is very quickly, and then you can do all sorts of introducing yourself. But Lebogang, I want to get into that there's still an argument in South Africa, and I want to get into two parts of that argument. The first argument in South Africa is that why do people still need homes? Why do people need property? In this day and age, people are packing up and going. There are opportunities across the country, globally. Is there even still a justification for one to actually purchase a home, let alone to purchase a home back in the townships?
You don't necessarily have to purchase a home. That's why we also offer a rental solution for that, for lock up and go. So most of our properties in our portfolio, we actually do rentals. It's actually bachelor apartments and studio apartments that we do, more than your 2 bedrooms and 3 bedroom apartments that we actually develop. So it's a lock up and go type of situation that we're bringing, so that you don't have to worry about if my things are safe when you are not there. If you are at work, you don't have to worry about break-ins and stuff like that. They are secured complexes that we're bringing in the townships. And coming back to your question, I mean, irrespective of where you are, current economic market, you always need a place to stay. We all need a place to stay. So everyone will always need a place to stay. So that's why we're providing solutions, that cater for majority of our people. So we're ensuring that our people have, a secured, comfortable, and yet dignified space that they can afford to stay in, whether they want to rent, whether they want to buy, but we're ensuring that we are catering for that. But in terms of the need for people to buy, if you're not buying a residential home, then buy an investment property. If you don't have the time, the effort, to do so, you don't have the resources or the expertise, or you don't even know where to start, then BizHouse and BizHouse Capital is there for us to assist you, whereby you can invest in our private equity fund. You put in your money there, we do all the work for you, and all you get is passive income. So basically, this is you using other people's money to get ahead. Instead of you having millions of rands to invest in property developments, you can actually buy shares in our equity fund from as little as 5,000 rand, and you are able to invest in property, and you're leveraging with other people's money to get the same results that you could have gotten if you would have invested in that particular property development yourself. So that's the second problem that we're solving. We're breaking the barrier to entry into property investment market by bringing fractional ownership into the property investment space without you having to have the burden of, where do I start when I'm looking for an investment property? What do I have to look out for? What do the professionals that needs to get involved. You don't even have to stress yourself about the rezoning process, for instance. You don't even have to stress about, how do I approach the bank? How do I negotiate for building materials? How do I negotiate for better, investment property deals? We do that all on your behalf. All you do is send your money to work, instead of you working for money all the time. So that's exactly the second problem that we're solving. We're bringing solution, an African solution to the African problems.
Okay. I'm gonna take you a couple of steps back again, just so that
100%.
I get the feeling you're having a conversation with us, and very well trained, by the way. So big ups to Emmanuel and his team. But I want to speak to Lebogang. I want to speak to you. I want to speak to you not as the CEO of BizHouse. I think the work that you guys do at BizHouse, it speaks for itself. It's not something that at this point in time we need to almost try to even convince people. I think what we do need to convince people is that there is a problem that exists, and you are rightfully on the pedal to say, South Africa's got an affordability issue. So, however, while we're having that affordability issue, we also have a very classist issue. Growing up as a race, especially as Black people, being the have-nots. If you don't have, you find yourself in a situation where you are almost walking into every room trying to elevate yourself. So to have social conversations and say to somebody, oh no, I live in a township, I live Scoopy Goopy, for some people is still something that is looked down upon. How do you guys ensure that when you are putting the product, especially on a housing perspective, to the market that has a housing issue, but is turning their noses up at living in the township? How do you reconcile that problem?
So the problem of people looking down in the township is because of the products that exist in the township, you know, and also at the same time, it's also the crime rate that is associated with the townships, and also the unemployment. I think what drives the crime rate higher in the townships is the unemployment rate in the townships themselves. So if we are to eradicate crime in our townships, we need to deal with the real issues within economic development in our townships. So economic development, we're looking at economic activities of the townships themselves. By bringing these developments right in the middle of the townships, we are ensuring that we are creating jobs already for those particular townships. By creating jobs, people are now taken from the streets, are now putting into employment. So therefore, they don't have the time to go commit crimes, but they are now fending for their families. So if they are feeding their families, they're now able to put food on their tables and develop them further. So and now we have already reduced the crime rate by taking a couple of people into the actual employment, and then by doing so, they are also spending their money in the township. So by spending money in the township, we're increasing the buying power of the township itself, and the money is circulating in the townships. So therefore, more people are now, getting money from that, because economy is actually interlinked. So if the unemployment rate is decreasing, that means that there's more people that are buying in the township, and then therefore it also, if they are buying, let's say for instance at ShopRite, so that means that ShopRite has more sales, has more demand, therefore they're going to also hire more staff. So because they've hired more staff, they are selling more things. That means that they need more transport. So when they now need more transport, and then that means the farmers are also doing well. So it affects the whole value chain. So you need to look at it that way, to say, if we are investing in our townships, we are increasing the economic activities, therefore we are driving the unemployment rate down by just bringing these products in the townships and increasing the quality of the products that we're bringing in the townships. Instead of doing your traditional back rooms that our grannies used to do back in the days, so we bring the superior product that me and you would want to stay in the likes of Sandton and Bryanston and Midrand. So instead of doing back rooms, we are bringing the same product that everyone is desiring to say, I want to go live in Sandton. Why don't we bring the Sandton in the township, so that we can also be proud to live in our townships? So if you have those superior products in the township, so now you have Sandton in townships. So therefore, if you say I stay in Tembisa, but I'm staying at Prestige Park Tembisa, so you already now have a certain level of status when it comes to that. So you no longer look down at the township as a whole, but you're looking at the product itself that is superior, that we're bringing into the market, that we're ensuring that our people will have access into, and they can afford to stay in these particular areas. And they also have a platform for them to put, not to live from hand to mouth, but also to make sure that they also create wealth for themselves and for their families, but by having a platform that is available and that is affordable for them to put their money in, to grow their money in. So we're creating a whole ecosystem in the townships that solves the issues that we face in our townships. The problems that we have in South Africa is, is economic activities. By us doing so, we are ensuring that we are increasing our economic activities. As a result, we are solving real African problems. We're bringing real African solutions.
I mean, I like what you said, and I think it's you painted the picture quite well in terms of starting from what is the cause of, you know, a debilitating status of a place. Of course, it may just be historically attached for some people. It may be a sentiment of status. It may be a sentiment of saying, you know what, it's not conducive for me to bring up my family in the township because of issues of high crime rates or lack of resources. So when you've got a developer that's coming in and saying, we want to solve that from creating economic activity, making sure that there is an actual cycle that is taking place here to put those people that we are afraid of into the economic activity so that they can produce at the end of the day the quality that people are looking for. I think that's quite great. So here's my thing. I'm on your side right now. I'm under project. I'm not seeing the township that you are building in. Under current projects, you've got Prestige. I don't know if your web developer is not doing that job. If they are not, I can send you one, okay? They need to update those projects so we know exactly which townships you guys are working in. So I'd love to get into a little bit of that. But before I get into that, I don't know if you know the guys from TUF, I don't know how to pronounce TUHF.
Yes.
Now they've got they've got a project called Mastandi, right? And you
100%.
alluded to the fact that you guys are bringing in a more superior product than what we are all well accustomed to, which is having the back room, and they bringing that. Then you look at the likes of your SummerCons, you look at the likes of your Balwins, you look at the likes of your Central Developments. I mean, Central Developments probably a better example to use here, or Cosmopolitan Projects rather, because you know they also under that affordable housing bracket. What do you guys know about the township that they don't know? Because Mastandi does not say, let's make the product superior. They're saying, let's get everybody's got a back room to create some sort of business around. Central Developments, I see them in the neighborhoods of the townships. They're not inside the township. SummerCon, Bowen, they're not even trying. What do you guys know that they don't know?
I think we know the real problems that exist for our townships, and obviously me being a product of the township myself. I grew up in a squatter campus. I never wanted to stay in the back room. I've never stayed in the back room actually, because for me, me staying in the back room, it was still the same setup. I grew up in a squatter camp, so it was not bettering my life. And I mean, no one is actually proud to say I'm staying in a back room, but we want to create a product that people can be proud to say, I stay at Prestige Park in Tembisa, I stay at Prestige Park in Soweto or Villa Lisa or whatever the case is. But you know, you stay in the township, but you are proud to say, I stay here. You are proud to say, I stay in such a place. You are proud to even, you know, because that product brings a lot of dignity when you speak about it, and also you are comfortable to even stay in such places while you're building your financial muscles, and you are building towards your financial success and financial independency, ultimately financial freedom. So it's us saying, look, we know that you know, people need money to build backrooms so that they can feed their families. But at the same time, these backrooms are not really solving much of our problems that we still have in the townships, because it's still the same product that has been offered over these years. But at the same time, you have people that are looking for better accommodation spaces. They're looking for better accommodation, you know, places that they can stay in, that they can maybe raise their families in, or they can, you know, build while they are building. They're in their building stage. They can, you know, live in and be proud to live in. We have people like that, and you look at the market; it's not offering anything like that. To say, I want to stay in the back room, but I also can't afford mid-rent, or I don't want to stay in mid-rent. What is there for me? You know, so that market that is not catered for, that's exactly what we're looking at. That's exactly what we are catering for, and we've proven that it exists. And with the projects that we've done, we've proven that this market is one of the biggest market that exists in our in our accommodation, residential accommodation spaces. So we know that because we've tested the market, we've brought the product, and we've proven 100% occupancy across all our portfolio. I mean, we don't have to advertise much in order for us to get tenants. I'll give you an example. When we were testing the market with one of the projects that we just completed. We were testing the market in Boksburg, in Villa Lisa. We actually developed about 8 units just to test the market. So the 8 units, we are renting them out. It's bachelor apartments, about 28 square meters. This is about 3 times the size of a back room in the township. And it's self-contained. You have your shower, your bathroom that has a shower, a toilet, a basin, a fully fitted kitchen unit that has your glass stoves, covered space, and a sink, and your wardrobe. So it's semi-furnished. So you're already getting a product that you can get in the likes of Midrand, Bryanston, and Sandton, but at the township, with the township price. So by bringing that product in the market, we listed that product on Monday. By Thursday, we had already hit about 8,000 inquiries about the same price. So that shows you that there's a product that people are looking for, but it's not there in the market.
I mean, I say this to people all the time, and I'm like, there's a reason why there is Section 13 of the Tax Act when it comes to property, because at the end of the day, South Africa's got a real housing issue. And
100%.
when you marry solving a problem as big as housing, but you marry it with the right type of product, you can't go wrong. And I think that's always going to be the ideal. But we are lucky that we are going into property development in a time where people have more information. They know what to ask. They know what to expect from, the space that they're going to be renting out, or the space that they're going to be buying. So it's not a bad thing to have somebody say, but sorry, you guys said that the geyser is part of the rental, so when it breaks, insurance must pay. Because we need to have that type of a market that is going to hold developers accountable for such things, so that people at the end of the day are going to give superior products, right? I see the conversation about the sizing of the space. We'll get into that, guys. We'll get into the nitty-gritties of actually what is this product that Biz House is actually offering. I think it's a very crucial part of the conversation. But I think more than anything, it's so important because part of the audiences that I've got on my platform is not just people who are looking for housing, it's people who are looking for investment opportunities. So we need them to understand the investment product, the model, and everything. And perhaps maybe you might find that, at the end of the day, most of us are running property stokvels, and we are looking for opportunities to invest our funds, because let's be fair, I did a quick math sum. I'm actually writing my second book. And I call it my second book. It's actually my third book, but it's my second adult book. And one of the book is about how to make money. And obviously you can't write a book in South Africa without writing about real estate and how important real estate is into your investment portfolio or your investment strategy. And so I've only been in that space using rental, right? Accommodation, rental, Douglasdale, high end. It's what class. You guys know the classes. I don't know what the classes are. And from an 8,000 Rand rental, 8,000 Rand is my rent that I collect. 3,000 goes to levies and that I pay to body corporate. 5,000 Rand is what I'm left with. 1,000 Rand goes into
taxes.
City of Johannesburg, and then I've got, I think, just below 500 that goes into my insurance pocket. So I'm left with 3.5.
And it's not all, because you haven't counted your maintenance and management fees.
At all.
If you're paying management fees, you must be paying it at about 10%.
Yes. Well, I negotiated mine to 6% because I say to them, excuse me, you are not doing anything here, okay? I don't rent out to problematic people, so you're not doing much, right? So and then I made a comparison.
but you still have a maintenance fee that you need to put
Of
aside
course.
of about 6 to 8%. So overall, you're looking at about 15% that you still need to take out of your rental. So
Of course.
From that
From 8
3.5, from that 8.5, you must minus 1.2 again.
So essentially, I'm making just above 2,000 Rand. And then I made a comparison with my YouTube channel. And on my YouTube channel, I'm averaging like over 15,000. And I'm like, no, guys, something is off here. You don't understand? And I'm like, but this does not mean property is a bad idea. It just means we need to start looking at better ways to invest in real estate. And that's 100%. Why I was very, very interested in having this conversation with you from an investment point of view, from a strategy point of view, from a, for me, the product at the end of the day, I don't even think I take it into consideration because I expect you to build a superior product. Right, having from the background that you come from, that is an expectation I've already got. But as I said, we've got a group of investors that are watching right now. We've got a group of buyers. We've got a group of people who are looking for rent, or maybe not necessarily for themselves, but they've got relatives that are coming into South Africa or into Johannesburg, or whichever town that you guys are going to be building in. So let's talk a little bit about the model that you guys currently have in terms of the rental. I'm assuming it's rental developments, right?
Yes.
So you're not necessarily selling.
Mostly it's rental developments. We seldomly do developments to sell. So far across the whole portfolio that we've done so far, we've done over 513 units within the space of 5 years, and we've only sold about 18 of them.
That's amazing. While we're on that, let's talk about price. Price point is a very painful point for a lot of South Africans. One of the first things that you mentioned when we got into this conversation is an affordability issue, right? Affordability is very high, but people still want, with the little that they want to pay, they also still want superior. So now, as somebody that is about to build a house right now, before I even turn the soil at my stand, I have paid architect, I have paid something engineer who came to test the soil to know how deep the foundation.
Geotech engineering.
Listen here, I am not a happy person right now because my plans are not even approved at council, and I've already forked out a good 300,000-400,000 Rand. Right?
100%. And this is excluding land cost.
Do you
it's
understand?
It's very important to mention that,
Please, man, because exactly my land cost almost double that, right? So based on that conversation, you guys may just be going into, and I'm making an assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong, you may just be going into unserviced land and making it serviced, making it habitable, or if that's even an English word, so that there is sewage, so that there is water, there's the electricity. That is a big cost on your book, on your records, on your balance sheet. How 100%. Are you then justifying a way to find the price point? I haven't even asked what the prices of these the rentals are. I'm making an assumption because you did say not at the mid-rent price, so I'm assuming it's lower than the mid-rent price. How did you guys get that right?
So what we've done is we've built some incredible model into the whole development, right? So we own our own construction company. So we cut on cost in terms of the labor cost in terms of that, because that's very, very hasty. That's number one thing that takes away a lot of money from your pocket, right? So we've built partnerships with other professionals as well. So because we're doing multiple developments, so there's already a pipeline of projects in the pipeline that we're giving business to them. So we have like exclusive working partnerships with some of the architectures that we're using and the engineers that we're using. So therefore, in exchange for that, they're giving us 50% of their rate off. In terms of also the attorneys that we use, in the process, transferring attorneys. We're getting, we're getting our transfers done at 50%, sometimes at 40% of the transferring costs that people normally pay. That is just on professional level. So in terms of the land cost as well, we do negotiate hefty when it comes to actual purchasing the actual land. So we're always buying all of our properties below market value. So if you
while you're on the issue of land, I'm very curious to know what type of networking do you need to have to be able to know where there is actually land? My biggest struggle with trying to get into property development is always finding the land. Do you guys find the land? Is there an inn that you have that we don't know, or are you going to a place doing a little bit of market testing so that you can find out if the land, if it's an appropriate space to even develop?
Yeah, so we have a team. We have a team that is literally just their mandate is just to go look for land and look for opportunities and study the market and do a market study and do your research and development reports. Just so we have a team dedicated just to do that. To ensure that because we have 7 pillars of amenities that we use in order for us to identify our sites. So every site that we've identified, before we can even start the negotiation of the land price or even asking how much they're looking for. So we have 7 things that we're looking at. So all of our developments needs to be within 5-kilometer radius. We need to have South African police services. We need to have health facilities. We need to have access to public transport. We need to have gas stations around it. We need to have schools and shopping complexes around it. We need to have easy access into public transport and also easy access into highways. Those are the 7 key pillars that we use in order for us to identify our development site. So by using these 7 pillars, so our research team will go on the ground to go identify for a piece of land, and then look at how far are all these amenities from the development. If any of these development is further than 5 kilometers from the development, he immediately look for another opportunity. He doesn't even have to go into looking at other things. So we identify first, and then we look at other things. Yes.
I like that. I like what you're talking about, because I think even let's be fair, as anybody that's watching right now, when you're looking for a rental apartment, when you're looking for a space, one of the biggest first things you're looking for is it close to amenities, right?
100%.
Is it close to a school? Is it close to a shopping center? Is it close to a clinic? Does it have good access to the roads? I think that's always going to be an important thing, right? Yes. And now I'm getting excited, because I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is exciting stuff. So tell me because what I've seen now, and I saw it at, I don't know what the place, I think it's Vleerhof, somewhere in the south. I went to a school. Actually, I was going to the school, which is Future Nation School. And while I was at the school, I then realized, because then I looked around the area, because the school was in a random address. When I started looking around, I can see all of these developments coming up. So you can see, it almost looks like a little smart city village that is popping out of nowhere. Yes. So is there a possibility for you guys in the near future to go, let's say one of your guys goes and identifies a site, but there's no school, to bring in a school network like a Future Nation, like a Spark School, to say, with whatever development we're going with further, we want you guys to also come in with this mini school, express school, I don't know what you would call it.
So we have we are currently developing something similar for Lesotho though. So in Lesotho, because it's still underdeveloped, so there's a lot of opportunities for us to do developments that side. I wouldn't speak much about it, because it's still at the foundation phase in terms of the product that we're trying to get to Lesotho. But we are on the development side that we are going to be developing in. So those amenities, these 7 pillars, those that are not there. So what we then do is because we are not interested in doing any school, developing any schools. So we'll then develop the actual structure because we are in property, and then partner with a school that is already doing that, and bring that product closer to the people. So if there's no gas stations, because we are not in the gas stations development, we will then provide them with the land, and then they will then put in a gas stations around that particular area. So those
How
are
old
the
did you
things
say
that
you are again? I am thoroughly impressed. I mean,
am literally 29 years old.
It's very few people. Look, I'm a Virgo, so I'm very hypercritical, and it's impressive what you guys are doing. You know,
Thank you.
Being able to think about the full value chain, being able to know your strengths. You know,
Yes.
it's you saying we're not going to start a schooling network. That's not what we do. That's not our core point. But what we do and what we know is construction. So we will build a school and let the network come in. Let the what is it, Advertex of this world come in. Let the Curo, let the Stadios of this world come in and put in the
100%.
school. That is absolutely impressive.
And we can make some rent money from that.
Come on! Diversity. You know, it's so funny because while we're talking about this, space in Nagram, in the advertising space, I just want to put billboards on your buildings, and I'm going to sell advertising space. You know what I mean?
Actually, we are, by talking about that, we are actually building one of the iconic buildings that is coming in Alexandra. We are going to be building about a first tallest building in South African townships. In fact, it's actually the first tallest building in African townships. So at the pinnacle top of that building, we're going to have a digital marketing board. So we can obviously get such, because we are looking at possibilities of having advertising agencies to partner with, because we are not in the advertising space. We don't know the market, but we can provide a space for that. We can obviously, because this is an iconic building, it's going to do, exactly what you see, the Vodacom building in Joburg.
Tower or something like that. Yes.
Yeah. So that tower, did you know that Vodacom is paying about 1.2 million rent? Somewhere around, apparently is paying about 1.2 million rent to have their sign on that.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what's crazy though is the fact that it is now being called the Vodacom Tower. So they need to negotiate, because I wouldn't pay that. I mean, I'm in the advertising space. You know, it's funny, and I always say this conversation, I'm like, many people don't know how I make my money, and they make these funny assumptions about how I make my money, and it's always cute for me to listen to. I actually made my money in advertising. So we do media buying, and that's literally the core of my business, right? And many people don't know that, because then I went into the space of financial literacy, and then I moved from financial literacy and I went into TV and all of that. But ultimately that's our job. And my thing is, Vodacom must call me so I can negotiate for them. It's called it's like FNB and Soccer City. It's called FNB Stadium. No other brand. It doesn't matter which brand. People still call the PSL the ABSA Premiership, even though DSTV has taken over it. I would have negotiated hard. So I'm just telling you now that I'm going to play a very big ball with you, and I'm negotiating there in your building in Alexandra.
No, we definitely love that. I mean, I think also it's a question of supply and demand. There's no much iconic buildings like that in South Africa. So whoever who owns that building is probably going to be on some. You're actually underpaying me, Vodacom.
So Lebogang, let's talk a little bit again about your. I mean, you've explained how you guys can manage to bring down those costings for your market. And I love that. I've never actually thought about making sure that you own the value chain from the onset, because often what happens is that people will start a business, then they will only add certain things, because you start. It's like me. So I wrote a book, right, and then I'm telling you, I get so frustrated every time I have to get a printing quote for a reprint, because I look at the cost and I'm like to my team, guys, let's just buy this machine, eh? Let's just print our own books. What do you think? sense to me. Every single
Yeah,
time I
yeah.
have to print, and my printer's in Cape Town. So it's not just the printing cost, it's the cost of time, because the turnaround times, because I'm not their only client. So I have to wait for a slot. So it's costing me money because I'm wasting time. Secondly, it's in Cape Town, so it needs to be couriered back to Joburg, which is a cost that I really should be absorbing some way. And then
Yeah.
it's my book. Can I print my own book, guys? Please. So we like making this decision. We're like, okay, no, it's time for us to go and buy the printer, guys. Let's just swallow our pride. We may just be able to print other people's books, other people's
100%.
material, right?
Yes, yes.
So and that is the other way of doing value chain, is you
Yes.
realize now that there are certain costs that you can absorb, but what do you, and my book would have been cheaper if I had owned the printing machine, because printing plays a big role in what my price ends up being for the book.
Yes.
So I think
100%.
it's you guys, but you guys somehow figured out from the onset that let's start with the pieces. The pieces will work towards the bigger goal. How do you get that? Is that just you, or is there a lesson that you learned and that's how you ended up there?
So I'm an accountant by profession, right?
There you go.
No. That's actually a misconception. To say accountants are stingy, we just wise, and we allocate our money correctly. It's not being stingy. You can't, and at the same time, you can't call me stingy with my own money.
Facts of life. And that's what we want to budget people. It was stingy on how about you spend on your
exactly.
money?
Yeah, so I have my budget. I have allocated my budget. Therefore, if an item is not on my budget, therefore I'm not going to spend on it. Or if I've now already maxed out a certain budget on a certain line item, it's gonna have to wait for the next income.
You really are an accountant. I cannot believe this.
So that's exactly our thinking. It's not necessarily that we stingy. It's just that we are stringent when it comes to our money, and often we are misconcepted as people who are stingy, but we're just wise, and we are just allocating our money correctly. So when it comes to that, in my 5 minutes of practice as an accountant, I learned quite a bit especially from my previous employer and from the clients that I serviced, really, because I climbed the corporate ladder quite quickly within that short space of time, and I had the privileges of working directly with some of the company owners, because I'd sit down with them and advise them on certain things, and how they think. Somehow, because you are now exposed to their level of thinking, and these are executives, and they've been running their businesses for several years. So you get to a point where you're now exposed to how they're thinking, and you are now exposed to how they're doing things, and then you catch on that. When you are now starting your business, you're obviously going to implement most of the things that you learned in practice, especially that you've been exposed to, and also having mentors that I paid to be able to coach me, and having mentors that I worked with, and some of the projects that we've done. So how they're thinking, how they're doing things, it actually had a huge impact on how I do things as well. And me building these relationships also made a huge impact in terms of how cost effective our projects became. I mean, if you see something that is working, you're definitely going to repeat it, and you also obviously want to expand more onto it. And so that's why we ended up, some of the buildings that we have certain services provided to us at no cost. Even some of our future projects, like for instance, we're going to be having solar panels on all of our buildings. All of our future buildings are going to have solar panels, but we're not going to spend any cent towards installing those. As expensive as they are, we're building green buildings, but we're not spending any cent towards those particular grids being built on our buildings. So these are partnerships and strategic partnerships that you want to form, and ensure that you get the value from it, and everyone benefits within within the value chain. We're not trying to, rob anyone or, use anyone, but we're forming partnerships that are mutually beneficial to each other. As a result, we're saving on cost. We are able to achieve our goal, and they are also able to achieve their goals and also make some money in the process. So that's exactly the thinking that we take when it comes to our developments, and that's how we get our Asantin product at the township price.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot, and I think it's quite an important explanation. Now let's talk a little bit, guys. If you do have any questions for Lebogang, please do send them in the chat. I'm seeing every single comment that is coming through, and I'm very happy that you guys are really engaged in our conversation. But do send through those questions. I think we've just scraped the surface. I would love to have more conversations with Lebogang. I think it goes without saying, very wise young man, very astute, so it would be great to have conversations with you. I mean, just on all aspects, running a business, being financially savvy, because you're very financially savvy, going into property as a part of your wealth building strategy, but also property as part of, your investment strategy. I think sometimes people don't understand the difference. There is building wealth, and then there's actually investing and actually putting together a strategy that's going to keep you alive. People often see wealth as, I want to live rich now. I want to drive the new Range Rover now. So I'm going into a space or into an asset. And sometimes that asset can really disappoint you because your intention with the asset is not aligned with the strategy that it should be your investment strategy. So that's why I like the part where you're talking that you guys also have an equity fund that people can tap into. If let's say, because let's be fair, property is not fiber. Let's just have a fair question. I see fiber for property. Even if you're looking for a decent property, you're paying north of 250,000. So if somebody is deciding that, actually I don't have the money, but I've got 5,000 rand. I do have 5,000 rand. I can raise 5,000 rand. I want to buy shares into this scheme of your guys's. Please take us through the actual scheme.
So this is a property fund, a private equity fund, meaning that it's not listed in any trading platforms. You buy shares into this private equity fund from as little as 5,000 rand. And just to also, very important to mention that we are an authorized financial service provider, meaning that we are FSP licensed. So we are registered under the Rainsell Fund 2 Limited license, FSP number 50359. So they can verify that. 50359.
Right.
50359.
359. Okay.
Yeah.
That
so
FSP number.
Yes, for the Rainsell Fund 2 Limited license, that's exactly where we have our fund listed under. So we are in asset class A, ordinary A class fund managers as Business Capital. So the prospectus is on our website. If one wants to go through the prospectus, we have two websites, which is bezhouse.co.za. And for the fund itself, specifically for the fund, it's bezhousecapital.co.za. So under Bezhouse, you will see under the investments tab, and that's where you can find the application form itself and the prospectus that you can go through for thorough details as to the fund, where your money is going to be working in, the projects that we've done, and the future projects that your money is going to be working in. So that's exactly where you can find that under the bezhouse.co.za under the investment tab. And that's where you can find that. And then under bezhousecapital.co.za also, that's exactly where you can find that. So how it works is the first thing first.
Before you get into the process.
Yes.
One of the biggest questions I get asked is, how do I set up a property stock sale? Because at the basic of what you guys are doing, this is it's a stock sale, right? It's just one that has gone to private school. It's got the right legality. And I like that. I like that because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I'm in a property stokvel, and then I ask, how much do you pay? Oh no, I pay 1,000, but other people pay 3,000, other people pay 5,000, and I'm like, what exactly are you guys buying? You know, how is this thing going to be shared? Like, I'm not understanding. Then I ask, the next thing is it registered? Do you know that not anyone can just register a fund? Because you're telling me you are in a fund, but your fund is not registered. So what exactly are you guys investing in? So for the benefit of everybody that is watching right now, I want you to notice the things that Lebogang started off by mentioning. The registration with the FSCA, that FSP number, those are the things that give you comfort. There is a prospectus that exists that tells you what are you investing in. There is a fund class that they are investing into, which gives you the rules of what they can and cannot do. The moment Lebogang starts saying to you guys, oh yeah, your money is going to go into other asset classes, now I can say I put it, but that's not what your prospectus say. Do you understand?
100%, yes.
It's important for our people to understand that there is nothing in this country, especially when it comes to money, that is got no regulation attached to it. Guys,
100%.
And literally your first trust point is always, are you registered with the FSCA? Because anybody 100%. That's running a fund and promises you some level of return, if you are accepting public funds and you're going to give somebody a return, they need to be registered. Carry on, Lebogang. I apologize. I needed to make that up.
No, thank you very much for that, because that's very, very important to say, look, you need to be regulated, especially if you are handling public money, because you need to have an accounting body that you need to account to, that will hold you responsible, especially for the investors that know not much to or nothing about investments. And they need to be protected. People's money needs to be protected. You need to comply with the King 3 governing body to ensure that you have a risk committee that is in place. You have an audit committee that is in place. You also have an investment committee that vets your investments that you're actually going to be putting other people's money into it. You need fund managers that are going to manage those particular funds. You need fund administrators that are going to ensure that the funds that are managed are actually administrated correctly. So it's not just Lebogang that is involved, but there's a whole lot of other people that ensures that your money is safe and it's going to work on the projects that it had said that it's going to be working in. So we can now say we're going to invest your money in property, and then now suddenly take your money and invest it in cryptocurrency or in forex, or take your money, invest it in robotics or NFTs or whatever the case is. But we need to invest your money in fixed assets that we've said that we're going to invest your money in. So immovable asset, that's exactly what we've declared the prospectus to be investing your money in. And this is also registered at the CIPC. So the prospectus needs to be approved by the CIPC committee and be registered with that before it goes public. So we went public on the 26th of November last year. So this particular fund is closing on the 28th of February at 5 o'clock. So 1 minute past 5, we're not taking any further money into this specific fund. We might, there's a possibility of opening another fund, but for this particular fund is closing on the 28th of February, 5 o'clock. You have until then to buy as much shares as possible. Minimum 5 shares at 1,000 Rand per share. You can buy up to 40,000 shares in this particular share scheme. So that's exactly what we have, issued to the public. And the process is as follows: you download the application form.
Before the process again, you know me and my question. Before the process again, who I know with the insurance you've got to be underwritten by another company.
It's growing.
Okay, that's what please just explain that process, because I think it's another important process, because you find these property stokvels and then you ask them, so who is your asset? Is it asset partner? What is it called?
So these are our fund administrators.
Fund administrators.
So they have an administration license with the FSCA as well. So it's a different FSP number altogether to the one that we have.
Yes.
So on the prospectus, it's also there. It's written Grovest.
Yes.
Those are our fund administrators. So it's very, very important to ensure that your money is safe. And also it's
and also Grovest is not going to run away with your money, guys. So even if Lebogang tries to run away with your money, Grovest is going to call him back and say, Puti, come back, sit here and tell us why you are running away with people's money. Because they are, I mean, forget the fact that there's Biz House and Biz House Capital, and they're already a big company on their own. Grovest is also a big company on its own. They're not trying to ruin their reputation. So I think that,
to put it into perspective,
yes,
actually,
please.
Grovest is actually handling about 3.8 billion assets under management
You
currently.
see.
Yeah.
And I think these things are important because the thing is, people in this country have, and I always say this, and it's going to sound a little bit distasteful right now, and I say, it's so funny, people have one night stands and they don't worry about a whole lot of things. But the moment they have to invest, the moment they've got to get involved in something, they start saying, ooh, but you drive a Range Rover, help you invest, because we understand that the property ladder is not going to be the same for all of us. Some of us may get in by buying property cash. Some of us may get in by developing property because we've got the background, we've got the muscle, we've got the capital to do it. But some of us do need to climb it by buying equity into existing funds. And this is what guys at Biz House Capital are doing for us. They're putting together, it's already put together. But what you need to do as a person for yourself and your comfort and your sanity is to say, okay, do they tick my boxes? And the boxes is exactly what Lebogang has just spoken about. It's the FSA number. It's understanding under which class the fund is. It's understanding that they are fund managers that they as Biz Capital have on their books. It's understanding the partnerships with the guys at Grovest, and the guys at Grovest have their own, So these things are very important for all of us because once they tick all of those boxes, now the question is performance. Is this thing going to perform or not, And we want Lebogang to tell us, it's great. Before you tell us the process, sell us on this idea. Is it going to perform or not? Are you just building?
No, 100%. I mean, we're looking at an estimated internal rate of return per annum of 16%.
Wow.
So, in our portfolio currently, we've done well over that across the whole portfolio that we currently have. So we've performed, one of the best performed property that we sold, we actually did over 362% return on investment within a space of 2 years. So just to give you a bit of a perspective.
I feel like you know things that the rest of us don't know. Like I'm just like, listen, like you and I are friends now, okay? So I'm gonna watch
definitely,
you and
definitely, yeah.
Yes.
So when it comes to that particular development that we did, this was 5 years ago. The building material was slightly cheaper, relatively cheaper than it is
steel
now.
Was cheaper. Jeez, guys, the price of steel.
So a whole lot of things were cheaper, and the land, we didn't have to buy it at market value. We actually partnered with someone that already had the land.
Wow.
And we put in some money into it. It costed us, very, very little. It costed us about 3.8 million rand to develop it.
Wow.
And we made
how many units?
18 units of 2 bedrooms, by the way.
Wow.
And most of the professionals that we used were partners, so we didn't have to pay for some of the professional fees that has to go into it. And we made a turnover of about 12.5 million rand from sales. That's over 362% return on investment within the space of about 2 years. So that's
I'm thoroughly impressed. And talk to us about the assets that the fund is going to be investing in. Is it your guys' own assets? Will you be delving into other assets in terms of actual immovable property? Will it just be under the Biz House portfolio? Will you be looking at maybe acquiring certain buildings, maybe in the CBDs? What is the plan?
So we will be acquiring certain properties and doing some upgrades on it. Okay. But mostly it's going into developments. It's going to be going into Prestige Park in Tembisa. This is one of its kind. This development has some incredible amenities. It has DSTV plug and play connection, fiber connection, backup power, entertainment area, 24/7 security at the gate and surveillance camera, access control, you know, all those things. DSTV plug and play connection. It will have, you know, firefighting systems that we're going to be putting integrated into the building.
A fire pool.
No, not a fire pool. I see what you just did there.
So tell me, what is it gonna? What's the development gonna be called in Tembisa?
Prestige Park in Tembisa.
Oh, so you call them like Prestige Park depending on where they are.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, so you know, if you lived in, I mean, I didn't live in a township. I lived in the village, Komarayi. But yes, often if you go to a township, you'll hear you abantu abahlala lapha bazi chela. So it's going to be one of those abantu abahlala Prestige.
Yes, so it's going to be like some of our bragging rights to say, "Hey, mina ngihlale
Prestige." I like that. I like that a lot. I like that.
Yeah. So those are some of the projects that are coming up. It's also going to be a Prestige Park Villa Lisa that is coming as well. We're also going to be doing Twala Towers, which is the first tallest building in South African township. Actually, it's actually we're going to on it, that's where we're going to have that marketing digital board on the top. We're going to have a high-end restaurant right at the pinnacle top with a 360 view of half of Gauteng. We're going to have you know, live.
Who keeps calling you? Who is this person that keeps calling you at the time when you are sharing so much knowledge? Tell them to please stop calling.
Sorry about that. I think it's some of my you know, development guys, my consultants, and they need to give me a bit of an update there. I think that's why they
Right. Okay, so I think you've kind of given us, so guys, very, very simple and very easy to understand. I'm sure if maybe you're one of the people that did invest with Barlow World, that Kula Sizwe, I think this, if you want to get a better understanding of what this private equity fund Lebogang and them that they're doing, it's something a little bit similar to that. What's great is that they've obviously got they've got the expertise in terms of the developments. They've got the expertise in terms of refurbing these developments that they're going to be acquiring. So we're not talking about somebody that wants to start an equity fund in a space they don't understand. You know, it's not them starting an equity fund selling avocados. Yeah, no, they're doing something that they actually fully understand, fully aligned in, and highly invested in. And I think it's always a great thing when people know that the guys who are starting the equity fund have a high investment in the actual buildings themselves, because that gives me comfort that you guys want these things to succeed. It's not simply a fund that's just all saying, oh, we're just acquiring buildings and sizobona guti yenzani, you know. So I think that's really exciting. But take us through now. You're saying the call out, the public call out is closing on the 28th of February, 5 o'clock.
100%.
Okay.
On the 28th of February, 5 o'clock, we are closing the public offering for this particular fund. And so people have until then to buy as many shares as they possibly can. So from a minimum of 5 shares to a maximum of 40,000 shares per investor. So
how much are you hoping to raise? Am I putting you on the spot? Sorry, how much are you hoping to raise? I mean, I'm just thinking if the maximum is 40,000, you're putting us under pressure now, because the rich boys are going to come in here and just buy 40,000, and then so how many shares are available to buy, and how much are you hoping or projecting to raise from the public?
So we're projecting to raise about 200 million for this particular fund. So so it's 200,000 shares that are available that we issued to the public, and you can buy them. You can buy up to 40,000 shares per investor. We're limiting that because we don't want exclusivity. You know, coming,
and people are having voices now in the equity fund now because they bought so black. Relax. Okay, so 100%. This public participation portion, is it 100% of the equity fund, or is it a portion of the actual? Are you funding it in another way? Is it, so what I'm trying to understand is that this 200,000 shares, is it the full thing, or is it like maybe 80% of the equity fund and you're going to collect other money from liability or from your own pockets?
So what we've done as we have put up, I think about 40% of that from our own, combining of our buying power from the access to credit to the bank from the banks, including the land that we currently own for these particular developments. Because these developments that we're talking about, we're not talking about a development that we're still going to use the public money to buy the land.
Yes.
So we already bought the land, we own the land, we've already done preparation to the land. You see what you're talking about, your engineering studies, your geotech reports that you're talking about,
all done.
So your storm management plans, your bug services into the development, your things like your sewer services or sewer maps, and also things like your traffic studies that you need to be doing, and traffic reports that we need to be giving to and the rezoning that goes into that as well. So we've put in, rezoning alone, it costs you anything between $500,000 to about 1.5 million, depending on the size of the project itself. And there's also park services that we need to put in place. There's also all these engineering reports, architectural fees. You've already spoken about.
Listen,
that you need to put.
I feel like as you are breaking it down, the picture starts to become a little bit more clearer. I think even for the people that are sitting here wondering, why does he need the public to come in and buy equity into this thing? I think first and foremost, before he even answers that question, it's a matter of, let's build together as South Africans. Let's build together. Let's own these buildings together. I think that's important. But also, it's important for people to understand the building cycle of a development. I think most of us just, we wake up one day and a building is going up and we're like, but people don't really understand what goes into actually developing even just a 10-unit structure, especially when you're coming into land that is not serviced, land that has no resources, and some of the things that everybody, the municipality is going to come and ask you, did you do this? Did you do that? Was that done? Where's the certificate for this? So I think that's quite important, and it's quite impressive that you guys, and that's why I said in the beginning, somewhere, as I was talking, because I say a lot, and I was like, it's so important to know that the company itself is also got a stake in this equity fund, because then it means that we all have a role to play as the public that is going to participate, as you guys, as the company, so that this thing becomes a success. So I'm really, really excited about that. Talk to us about the process now. So 28th, what do? I go on Biz House. If I don't go to Biz House Capital, Biz House, I go under investments. I go for the mandate application.
Yes, you download the mandate application form, and you fill it in, submit it to us with your FICA documents. So FICA documents, they differ from who you are and or the structure that you're actually investing in, whether you are an individual South African or a non-South African, or you are a South African company or a non-South African company, you are a trust, or you are an NGO, or you are in partnerships, or you are in a stokvel.
So open to everyone, open to all legal and natural structures.
100%.
And non-South Africans.
Yes, and non-South Africans as well. So depending on where you are and how you're investing with us, whether you're investing for your minor as well for your kids, you can actually invest for your kid in the fund. So there are different FICA documents that you need to give us depending on how you're investing. Right.
I'm really scared though, because I think our kids are going to be so rich, they're going to annoy us. Like, we're going to make decisions right now for these people that they're going to make them really rich. I can't wait to have rich kids, eh? Like, they must walk around and say, my mama invested in this.
100%. I was having the same conversation with my wife the other day, and I said, I'm scared this young boy is going to be incredibly rich than, the whole family tribe.
Yeah.
Because, we started him at Bath. We bought him his first property. He currently sitting at about 3 properties. So these are, as things that scares me when it comes to looking at these type of these kids that we're going to be having in the near future.
Yeah. Okay. So you've sent FICA documents, everything out. What do I get from you guys?
Then you first pay in the funds to buy your shares into the provided bank account, that is in the mandate application form. Once you have those, then you can you get a welcome letter almost immediately once we've gotten all of those on our site. Once the fund closes, we're going to give you a share certificate to say between the 10th of February until the 28th of February, you bought yourself the first 5 shares, and then you came back, you bought 3, and then you came back, you bought 20, and you bought another 30. So you own about 100 shares. So this is your share certificate at 1,000 Rand per share. That was your cost. And then now going forward, when you sell so your lock-in period is about 3 years. For the first 3 years, you can't sell your shares because it has to allow us to do the actual development. And then we're going to list this fund on the alternative stock exchange after 3 years from today, so that you can trade in your shares there. So you can already imagine what is going to happen to your share price there. And then
before you carry on, please explain for the benefit of our audience what this alternative stock exchange is.
So alternative stock exchange is it's a stock exchanges other than the JSE itself. So these are small stock exchanges that you can, it's a trading platform where you can buy more shares or sell these shares that you currently own.
Okay, I don't want to go too deep into it because that's only going to happen in 3 years' time. So you get so it's a mandate first. Fill in the mandate, sign the mandate, supply your FICA documents. You got to do all of this before the 28th of February, 5 p.m. So where do they send them to? Is there an email address? Is there a post where they can drop them off? Where do they send it to?
So there's an email addresses. There's 2 email addresses that are in that particular mandate application form. There's investors@bizhouse.co.za, and there's also investors@grovest.co.za that you can send to either of the 2 or to even both. You can CC the other and send it to the other, and then we can have access to a welcome letter from our side, and then we're going to give you a share certificate that we're going to give you after we close the fund, or after the 28th of February. We're going to give you a share certificate so that we can become a shareholder in our private equity fund.
Okay. Once I've done all of that, I've transferred my money, I've done my deposit into, I think it's a First Rand bank account. I've done all of that. You've accepted me. I've received my share certificate, right? It is year 3 and things are not.
From next year, actually, we're going to start declaring dividends.
Okay, so you start declaring dividends. Can somebody reinvest those dividends?
Yes, they can reinvest those particular dividends if they don't want to cash out those, so they can reinvest them so that they can grow their money until at such point where they want to disinvest altogether.
Okay, so what happens if things don't go well? Because investments are a risk. The market, or there's a delay. Rather, I don't believe in what's the word, prophesizing doom and gloom, but what happens if there's a delay perhaps, and we have another COVID hit us for 2 years, and you guys can't build, you can't construct, and everybody is stuck?
So if there's a delay, then that means that we are going to have and endure that delay together until such a time that we are able to actually do the actual developments and get actual returns from that, and furnish you with your returns, and ultimately bound you, in terms of capital gains, get your capital gains up in terms of your equity that you've bought in to increase the value of your shares, and also still earning dividend income every single year.
So, but there's AGMs every year. There's
100%.
constant communication.
Yes, 100%. We're going to have reports under the Business House Capital website that we're going to be putting up there, in terms of it, also together with the projects that, as the projects they go up, we're going to upload them there. If we're buying buildings, we're going to upload them there, so that people can already see where their money is working at. And we're also going to hold annual general meetings to obviously update and also give people, their annual audited financial statements. So these are audited, fully audited. It's not reviewed financial statements. It's actually audited financial statements. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
All right. I mean, it's 22 minutes after what's 7 o'clock. I sound like I'm on radio. 22 minutes after 7 o'clock. I don't want to keep you here the whole night. I think we should definitely have another session where we have a conversation. Perhaps maybe we'll put it into a YouTube video. I'm going to go through some of the questions very quickly. If you can try and just poker your responses. If anybody is looking for further information, I'm sure Lebogang and his team, maybe perhaps not him directly, but his team is available to be able to give you guys all of those answers. The prospectus is probably the first place where you should start if you want to get an understanding of this private equity fund that they're going to be running open, currently closing 28th of February at 5 p.m. Remember, it is your responsibility to make sure that you do the due diligence. This session was not financial advice, but rather giving you information. So please do treat it as information giving session to make sure that you are well aware of some of the investment opportunities that do lie out there that are not necessarily brick and mortar, because, well, it's indirectly brick and mortar. You just won't be the one who has to deal with the schlep of having tenants and all sorts of things and making things profitable, right? So, compliance officer, do you guys have a compliance officer?
Yes, we do. You cannot have a fund without a compliance officer. You cannot have a fund without a key individual. So we do have those. If you go to our license, it will show that you, the compliance officer for this particular license, and there are details that you can actually, also do on the FSCA website. That's exactly where you can get the details of a compliance officer. And if you want to, they're verified, and you want to go over us.
Yeah, don't check them on Instagram, guys.
Yeah, don't check them from Lebogang. Go to the FSCA website, where they are registered under this fund, and you can now check their their details. You can contact them directly to ensure that this is legit. We do have a key individual as well for this particular license, and also their details are actually also on the prospectus. That's the shortest way you can get who's the compliance officer for this fund and who's the key individual for this particular fund that we've just issued to the public. So that's exactly where you can get your information in that. And for anyone that wants to get any assistance if they get stuck, they can actually contact our office line at 087-820-4085. That's our landline. Or they can just WhatsApp us at 067-881-4429. I'll repeat that again, 067-881-4429. That's our website, business WhatsApp line. That's not, ladies and gentlemen, that's not my WhatsApp line. So don't, I don't expect to be talking to me there. So my team is the one that is handling that business WhatsApp line. So we definitely can assist you there. And on our Business House Capital website, there is a webinar that you can register for, or you can actually watch previous webinars where we explain and summarize the prospectus, so that you can have a better understanding as to where your money is going to be working in, and you can be comfortable as well, and as to how the process works and stuff like that. So that's exactly where people can get more information, or they can just follow me on all of my social media platforms, Lebogang Lebepe, across all social media platforms, Lebogang Lebepe, on Instagram and on Twitter, and then they can follow us there. That we keep on updating them and giving them more information. I also host these sessions like you always do, where I issue free information, educational information, where we have these lives where we just impacting people and giving them information and teaching them about how to invest in property, how to build their businesses, how to build their wealth, preserve their wealth, protect their wealth, and how to plan for succession as well, because we are building generational wealth. So that's exactly what we are looking at. We are always looking at doing. So that's exactly. I'm also looking forward to engaging with you more in our future. You definitely have to have another session. This was incredible. I really enjoyed engaging and sharing the knowledge and sharing the information with the people. And I see people have been asking for more. They are busy shouting, when is the next session, please?
Lebogang, Nicolette, that's all. Nicolette's not going to finish. Let me answer all her questions at once. I think more than anything, some of the questions that I'm seeing is, what are the time frames in terms of your returns? I'm going to answer that for Lebogang. Please, guys, this is investing. This is not trading. This is not gambling. We're investing here. When you are investing, you give your money KPIs, you send it to do the job, and that's what they're going to do. They're saying the equity fund is there to go and acquire a refurb. It's there to develop mainly. He's told you certain projects that are already there. So if you don't see those projects up, you can expect that your money is still working. It's still doing those KPIs. And however, they will be declaring dividends as soon as in the first year. I think that's important. Lock-in period is 3 years. And after 3 years, when they get listed on the alternative stock exchange, you then can do what is called stock trading and stock investing, and you can sell and you can buy and you can do all sorts of things. But from the 28th of February, when it closes, you've got there's 3 years that you've got to just sit tight and relax and wait and let your money do what your money knows best to do under this fund, because you are trusting the fund, you've read the prospectus, and you are saying, yes, I believe in the value system of these guys. I believe in their in their business model. I believe in all of the things that they're talking about. So I think really, really important. A share is 1,000 rand. It is a minimum of 5 shares. So at 5 shares, you are getting them at 5,000 rand. The maximum is 40,000 shares. Do the mathematics. 40,000 multiplied by 1,000. I'm not doing mathematics. I passed long ago. All right.
That's 40 million rand, actually.
Huh?
That's 40 million rand.
There you go. I'm just not going to do that, guys. I don't have the energy to do all of that. But I think more than anything, I see there's a whole lot of other questions, because I kind of got stuck at the top trying to answer a question about mentorship and all of that. There's one thing that Tabang said that I see Tabang is actually my ex, guys. Like his name. I heard CA and I thought, oh gosh, I dated somebody who was a CA. So one thing that Tabang said that was very important that I caught on, he said, I had mentors that I had to pay. Guys, I need you to understand this. I had mentors that I needed to pay. I had mentors that I was working with. Today, we seem to have this distorted idea of what mentorship looks like. We want mentorship to come packaged the way we want it. Mentorship is where you go and find your information. And when a person opens themselves up to give you more, that is a privilege. But mentorship is what you take. It's not what you get given. You choose. You say, Lebogang, I like 1, 2, 3, 4 about you. Therefore, that's what I'm going to take from you. That's what mentorship is meant to look like. Too many of us want it to be packaged the way we want it. We want this person to be available on WhatsApp, to be available for calls. It's not. They
want a classroom set up.
Yeah, guys. Not with all the technological advancements we've got. This man does webinars. He does educational talks. Listen to those. Take what you take. If there's really something pressing that you really need to ask, it is probably not urgent. It is probably not urgent. You can send your email. You can give him time. He's got a child. He's got a wife. He's got a life outside of all of this. And I think it's important as people to respect each other's spaces, because sometimes I think we excited. We really get excited and we want to ask and we want to do this. But for me, there's a gentleman that asked about mentorship. Hence why I'm answering this question is mentorship is what you take. It's not what you are given. So take what you need to
100%.
take. Yes.
So I want to add to that, Nicolette. When Nicolette is as actually asking you to pay for her time, she's not actually asking you to pay for the value of her time, because
Absolutely,
she
you
could
can't
be
afford
sitting with a potential client closing a 10 billion rand deal, but yet she took time out of her busy schedule to come sit with you to talk about you, your life, your aspirations, your dreams, your goals that has nothing to do with her or her business. So therefore, you are paying for opportunity cost, and you're all actually placing value on the time that you're actually going to be spending with her. So as a result of that, you're going to do something with the information that has been given by her. Because we tend to not place much value on the free information that we've been given, and we do little to nothing with that particular information. So therefore, as a result of that, you are only paying opportunity cost, and you are also ensuring that she didn't waste her time, at least with that consultation fee that you paid. In the same way as when you go see a doctor, you pay a consultation fee. When you go see her, you're also going to be paying a consultation fee to ensure that even if you didn't do the information, at least you can go take your money and go have lunch. She didn't really entirely waste her time. So that's exactly what mentorship is, and consultation fees are for. So when you are wanting someone's time, be willing to pay for an opportunity cost, not their time's worth.
I love that. I love that. I've never actually even thought about it in that manner, but I think that is absolutely solid gold. Lebogang, I don't want to keep you for too long. There's one last question. Is the project available on Easy Equities? No, guys, it's not available on Easy Equities. It is a private equity fund. Very important. Private equity fund. They've obviously got aspirations to list on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. However, all projects they've got a growth phase. They've got growth cycles. Yes. This is a private equity fund at this point in time. And that's why they're calling for the public participation. I mean, to be quite fair, they probably don't need us, but they're opening it up to us. So we're here. We're like, yes, we're aligned. We read the prospectus first, we understand the prospectus, and then we jump into
very important.
Yes, very important is that remember that this session was not financial advice, neither from myself nor from Lebogang Lebepe. It was simply an information sharing session, also educational session, mentoring session. It was all sorts of things. I'm really excited about what you guys are doing, and I really wish you all the luck. I would love to circle back with you guys post the 28th to find out whether the 200,000 rand was reached, baby. Just kidding.
200 million. Don't rob me of my.
Well, it's going to be public knowledge anyway at some point, so we'll eventually have the information.
100%.
Yeah, I really, really wish you luck. I'm really humbled at the amount of knowledge you have. It is unbelievable when you speak to somebody as young as you are, as vibrant, as kind, as gentle, and I say kind because to be able to share this kind of information is some level of kindness, and to share it at the humility at which, I mean, the numbers you were just spinning around. I mean, I was like, ooh, okay. So to do it with the humility that you did it with, do it with the passion and compassion for our people and wanting our people to grow with you guys and your company. You didn't have to do this. You could have done something else, made your money and go with your wife and child and settled somewhere. But you are putting yourself out there for public scrutiny, because we know how the public is, especially when it comes to Black projects. He must have a tender somewhere. He must have overinflated prices. You know how it is when it comes to Black
100%, yes.
Yeah. So we wish you luck, especially with the media that's going to be coming, with the scrutiny that's going to be happening. And I'm glad that you've got all your ducks in a row. I'm glad you've got your registrations, your compliances, and all of those things. The website is bizhouse.co.za. If you want to go straight to the private equity fund, it is Bizhouse Capital, right?
Yes.
Bizhouse Capital. When I post this, I will pin the numbers that he said you must contact, the WhatsApp line and the landline. Imagine if you can host master classes for just a week. I'd gain so much. This was a master class in its own. Remember, mentorship is not take. It's not what Tabang. Lebogang, jeez. It's not what Lebogang is going to be giving you. It's not what Nicolette is going to be giving you. It's what you decide to take. How much, on
100%.
average, how much are the units going for? What is the average rental? Remember you said they are rental properties, guys. Rental
Yes.
properties.
So our rental properties, they
bed-
start from as little as 2,500 rand per unit.
Wow.
Yeah. So remember I said to you, Santon product at the township price.
Santon project at a township price from the young man that grew up in the squatter camps. Ah, love it. What a beautiful
Thank you.
story. Thank you so much for sharing. Guys, thank you very much. You guys have been absolutely fantastic as always. If there is anything that you do not understand, please do get in contact with Biz House. You can send me a DM. All the answers. I will give it my best and I will try to answer, because you all know I'm terrible at DMs, because every time I open my DM is, what do you want for Valentine's Day? Please stop it. Just buy me, buy me a building, okay? You want to buy me something? Buy me a building. But Lebogang, thank you for your time. Much appreciated, and have an absolutely fantastic evening thus far.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge, your continuous empowerment to the public, to dedicating yourself and giving yourself out there to the people, to educating them, and to ensuring that people are growing and they become financially literate. As you call yourself, the financial bunny. I actually love that. So I think everyone will agree with me to say you've really poured so much and you opened yourself so much up to the public, and to ensuring that you taking it upon yourself to ensure that you educate and you empower everyone without even expecting anything from them. It is really true humanity, and you're doing the Lord's work by doing so. And thank you very much for this session. It's been an incredible one, and I wish you nothing but the best for your future and endeavors. I'm looking forward to more engagement with you post this, and we will definitely get in touch and do more of this, and do a lot of financial literacy for our people. And have yourself a lovely evening, and all the best, and enjoy.
Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Yes, bye.